Hello students, welcome back. Today I am Anuradha from Art and Progressive School. I'm going to start another chapter, that is chapter number 5, Principles of Inheritance and Variation. So here this chapter is coming under the unit Genetics and Evolution. So here we have to understand what do you understand by the genetics, what do you understand by the evolution, and under it what do you understand by this inheritance and variation, right? So first we will start with the terms which is related to this chapter, because these are the basic thing about this chapter, right? So the first term which is coming here, that is known as the genetics. What do you understand by this genetic? As the unit name is also genetics and evolution. So here it means that whenever there will be the study of inheritance and variation. What the genetics is? It is the branch of science in which they are dealing with the study of inheritance and variation. Okay, and the people, those who are related to this work, those are known as the geneticists. Okay, so here two terms are there, inheritance and variation. Then only we can say that we are studying the genetics. So what does it mean, inheritance and variation? The inheritance word indicates that whatever the characters you are getting from your parents. Okay, so when you are getting these characters, so how it is inheriting means that how they are passing on through the subsequent generation. If there will be any character in parents, like parent 1 and the parent 2, okay, male and female, so whatever the character they are having, the generation they are getting some character from their parents. Likewise in the subsequent generation, f2, f3, f4, f5, so they will inherit some of the character from the previous one. So this is known as the inheritance. So this is the process of the transmission of characters from parents to their subsequent generation, right? Then comes to the variation. We said that yes, character should pass on, but there will be some dissimilarity, then only you will be able to identify them properly. Okay, so likewise we have done about the asexual reproduction and the sexual reproduction. What we have done, that in case of asexual reproduction, variations are not there. Okay, so there is no variation or the less variation. Now if I will compare that with the sexual reproduction, okay, so during the sexual reproduction what we have done, that variation will be more. Why it is so? Because it is combining the character from both the parents. Okay, due to that they will show some variation. It means that the f1 of the or the offspring, it will be different from the parents in other aspects. Okay, likewise we are also inheriting some of the character from our parents, but we are not same like as our parents. So what is this? It is the variation, right? So these two things we are studying in the genetics, right? Then comes to the heredity. Heredity, it is somehow like inheritance. Heredity means that how or what are the characters they are passing on. Okay, so heredity is responsible, or it is related to what? It is related to the characters which is coming from our parents, and it is the basis for the genetics also. Okay, so here we can say that heredity is what? That how they are inheriting, right? Now comes to the variation. Right now we have discussed that what are the changes which is between the parents as well as the offspring. Okay, then comes to the inheritance is a process. Okay, heredity is the thing which is passing on, but inheritance is a process by which we are getting information that how the characters they are transferring. Okay, then comes to the character and the trait. You sometimes it happens that the students get confused that what is the difference between character and trait. Because why it is so, we are using the trait word or the character word in place of trait. Example is what you must have done, dominant character and recessive character. Okay, in 10th grade you must have done dominant character, recessive character. But here I just want to make clear that there is slight change between this character and trait. What is it? When we are talking about the character, it means that there must be a specific character of that condition. So what are the traits? Traits are the contrasting, okay? Traits can be contrasting things of this character. Example, we'll understand with the help of example. When I'm talking about the character, it means that flower color. Flower color is what? It is one of the characters which we are talking about. Okay. So example can be what? Example can be the flower color. Right. Now this flower color can have two traits. Two traits that are the contrasting one. What can be the traits? That whether flower color can be violet or it can be white, right? So these are what? These are the contrasting traits, and that's why we are using the word trait here. Character is what? The whole unit if we are talking about. Another example, if I will talk about the plant height, okay, plant height, it is another character, but this character can have contrasting traits also. What can be? The plant height can be tall also, it can be dwarf also, right? So this is what? This is the trait and this one is the character. So you can relate the examples, so many are there, like we can assume that the eye color, okay, so eye color is a character, but what can be the different traits of that eye color? Black, brown, so these are the traits. Likewise, hair color is a character, black, brown hair, it's a their trait, right? So likewise, this is the difference between character and the trait. Now comes to the allele. Allele is what? Allele, it is again a form or the pair of form in which we are talking about two things, okay, or two traits here. So if I will talk about the allele, it always in form of pairs, okay, and these when I am denoting with the plant height, tall, right? So tall we are indicating with capital T and capital T. So this is one of the allele and this one is also allele. Likewise, I am denoting the dwarf with the small t. This one is also allele and this one is also allele. So what you are observing, that each and everything of this pair, which is known as the allele, or we can say allelomorph. Okay. Then comes to the homologous chromosome and the heterologous chromosome. Homologous chromosome, homo means same, at the same locus. Hetero means at the different locus. So here when we are talking about the chromosomes, this one is a chromosome, okay, and we know that in this chromosome genetic material is present, okay. It means that these are the chromatids. When you will zoom this structure, you can see that these are present in form of DNA and here genes are present, okay. So when in any of the human being, how many chromosomes are there? 46 chromosomes. And how many pairs? 23 pairs. And we all know that out of these 23, the 22 they are the autosomes. There is only the difference of only one chromosomes which will decide the gender of the baby, and it is helpful for the sex determination, right? So what we can say, that all these are which placed in the same locus, it is known as the homologous, and the different one, it will be the heterologous chromosome, right? Then comes to the another definition, monohybrid cross. Mono means one, hybrid means that when we are talking about the crossing of two things, crossing of two parents, then the thing or the offspring which is going to form here, it will be the hybrid, right? So what is the hybrid? By the crossing of the two parents, the offspring or the generation which we are getting, it's a hybrid, right? It means that it has some character which is good than P1 as well as the P2. So here what we can say about the monohybrid cross, that when we are considering only one character at a time. What does it mean? That this is the cross in which we are talking about only one character. So what is the character? Right now we have discussed that any of the thing which we are mentioning, like flower color, it is one of the character. plant height, it's another character. So now if I will ask you monohybrid cross, it means that we are studying a single character or we have to say same trait at a same time. It means that when I will consider the P1 having tall, okay, and P2 will be dwarf. So what is my character? What character I am studying here? The plant height, okay, nothing else. I am not going to study about the flower color, I am not going to study about the stem color, nothing, right? So what is my aim or objective? Just to see that what will be the plant height of the hybrid, right? So in that condition we are talking about the two types or two traits, tall as well as the dwarf, and due to that we will get the hybrid here, right? So monohybrid cross we have completed. Likewise, di means two. Now, in this dihybrid cross, we are considering two characters at a time. It means that at the same time, I will talk about two characters. What can be the two characters? For example is what? We can say the seed color and the seed shape, right? What I said? Seed color and the seed shape. So shape can be round, the seed shape can be round or wrinkled here, and seed color can be green or the yellow, okay. So seed color can be what? It can be yellow and the green. So what we can say that at the same time we are talking about the round, okay. At the same time I will talk about the yellow. And here in the parent 2, again we can say wrinkled, and here we can say the green, right? So likewise we have done that we are considering two traits that in F1 generation there will be the transmission of both the characters, okay. So here we can say that this is a dihybrid cross, right? Then comes to the gene. Gene is the unit of the inheritance. It means that whatever the inheritance, it is happening from parents to the offspring. It is due to what? It is due to the gene which is present in the DNA, okay. Then comes to the phenotype. What do you understand by phenotype? It means that whatever you can see or the outer appearance of the things, it is known as the phenotype. For example, I said that yes, height is tall. Okay, I said plant height is tall. So I can see from my eyes. Likewise, I can see that whether plant is tall or the dwarf. This is what? This is the phenotype of the plant, which is known as the outer appearance. Then, when I will talk about the genotype, it means that what are the genes responsible for this tallness character, okay, or the tallness trait. So here, what can be the genotype? We are assuming that it's a capital T and capital D. And what are the genotype for this dwarf? It will be the small t and small t. Okay, and this we are just assuming and we cannot see it, right? Which we are assuming that these are present inside the plant. So phenotype is what? The outer appearance, which you can see tall and dwarf. Genotype is that it is responsible for this particular trait and we cannot see them, right? So this is the term. Then comes to the dominance and the recessive. What do you understand by the dominance and recessive? To understand this, you must have to understand first that what is homozygous and the heterozygous. What I said, two terms are there, homozygous and the heterozygous. So what do you understand by the homozygous? Homo means same, hetero means different. So when I am talking about this capital T and small t, so what you are observing that alleles, they are the same, right? Here also you can see alleles are same. Capital T is an allele and the T is also a allele. So what we are observing that both are having the same, in a pair they are having the same allele. Now if I will talk about the heterozygous condition, it will be of different allele, capital T and small t. So when you are seeing in the parents, okay, capital T and small t, so this condition is what? It is homozygous condition, and hetero means when they are having two different types. It means that after crossing this one, what we are getting? We are getting capital T and small t, because this Some of the character it is getting from the tall, and some of the character it is getting from the dwarf. Okay, so condition is homozygous and heterozygous. So when I will talk about the homozygous, so no one is going to dominate to another. It means that both of them, they are the same. Okay, if it is capital T, so nothing is there to just suppress the effect of another part. But when the condition will be in heterozygote condition, what will happen? One will dominate here and it will suppress the effect of the recessive one. So this capital T, it will be dominant over this small t, and small t is what? It is recessive. Okay, so we can say capital T is a dominant and small t is a recessive. Why? And where you can see this thing? Only in the heterozygotic condition, not in the homozygotic condition. Okay, so these are the basics. Without this we cannot understand the whole genetics. Now as we are moving from this part to this part, what you are observing, that here we are talking about something gene. It means that when Mendel's, here the role of Mendel is very important, because the father of genetics is what? The Gregor Johann Mendel. Okay, so according to him, that characters, they are passing on from parents to the offspring. But that time there was no invention of the microscope, or there was no such type of thing so that he can see the things inside the plant, but only on the basis of their observation, as he was a mathematician. So what he found, that some of the characters, they are coming from their parents, and that time what term he used there? He used the term factors. Okay, instead of the word gene. Gene word we are getting when there will be the invention of this microscope, and when the scientists came to know that yes, inside the plant cells nucleus is there, inside the nucleus chromosomes are there, and inside this chromosomes DNA, genes, everything is present. So that time they use the word gene. Okay, and today we are using the word gene as that unit of the inheritance, but that time he said there are some factors which is responsible for the passing of these characters from parents to offspring. Okay, so it means that there is a huge role of the Mendel here. That's why we are calling them the father of genetics. Okay, now what he did, he performed the experiment, because he was a monk. He used to live there, and at the garden area he grows some pea plant. Okay, so the question may be asked that in which crop the Mendel did his experiment. So what is it? It's a pea, and it can be asked what is the scientific name of pea? Pisum sativum. Okay, genus and the species. So here he performed his experiment in this pea plant and performed for the 7 years. So he, how many years to give the conclusion? 7 years. So this 7 years he grows the peas, and after he got the different generation of these plant, and later on he concluded his result. So here what is the reason behind it? Why he took only the pea plant, not any other crop? The first thing is that the pea plant can be easily available. Okay, so the seed which he got here, it can be easily available. Second thing, the short life cycle. It's very important one. You know that if I'm talking about the pea, so here all three phases, vegetative, reproductive and the senescent phase, it will complete in short span of time. It means that lifespan is very short, and in short span of time we will get more number of results. Okay, so what, for doing any experiment or for doing any research, the scientists, they used to prefer the things which can be of short lifespan. Just like in case of animals, they are using the Drosophila. Why it is so? Because Drosophila having the short lifespan. Okay, so likewise in case of plants, he took the pea plant. Why? It's because its life cycle is short. So after the 3 months he will get the result, and again he can sow the seed of this pea plant, and again after 3 months he will get the result. So likewise it keeps on working, and still it took 7 years to give its work. Okay. So another one that produce large number of seeds. If you will see the pea plant, okay, if you will see the pea plant having the pod, so inside one pod you can see that so many seeds are there. So from one fruit he can take so many seeds. So that's why the condition is what produce large number of seeds, right? Then comes to the bisexual flower. What do you understand by bisexual? It means that both male and the female part it is present inside the same flower, and condition is what? Bisexual flower. So it will be easier for him just go for the hybridization technique, okay, and with the help of this bisexual flowers. Then comes to the number of easily detectable contrasting character. Again, it's very important after the short life cycle, because whatever the contrasting character he took for the pea plant, it can be easily detectable in this crop. Okay. So from all these aspects, he found that the pea plant is perfect choice for doing or performing the experiment. Okay. Now, in his experiment, what he did, he performed this experiment in some of the steps. So the first thing what he did, that first point about that the selection, what he did, he go for the selection. If I have to improve anything, okay, if I have to improve any child, what I will do, first I will see the variation, whether how many type of children are there. Okay, so that's why I said earlier that variation is very required for the improvement. Okay, where there is a variation, there will be more chances of the improvement. If there will be no variation, if all the children they are good in studies, so there is no scope for the improvement in those students. So how can I improve those children? Okay, so in that condition, what is required? There must be variation. So once there will be variation, it will be easier for me just to select it. Now the first thing which I will do here, I will select the plants. Okay, once I have selected, what I will do, I will go for the crossing method. What can be the crossing method? The hybridization technique. So for the hybridization technique, what is the required? As it is bisexual flower and contains both male and female reproductive unit, so here it is required that the male part should be removed from the flower so that it will become the female flower only, right? So what we are doing, we are going for the emasculation. So what Mendel did, emasculation or removal of this male part from the female flower. Now it will remain only the female flower, and from the another plant or from another parent, it will become what? It will become parent 1, and from other parent he took the pollen of the plant and it will become P2. So here it will be what? It will be the male. Okay, once they have from these cross combination, they will go for the crossing method. After the crossing, what will happen? It will form the F1, and he found different offspring here, and he studied each and every generation how these character they are passing on. Okay, so to understand all these things, what he found that all the things it is happening in the different characters. So what are the different characters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, right? So here 7 characters he studied here in this pea plants. What can be this character? Stem height. We all know that whether the height of the plant is tall or it is dwarf. Okay, so first he assumed stem height, then flower color. What is the flower color? Whether it is a violet or the white color. Then flower position. Flower position is what? Whether it is axial, okay, at the apex part, or whether it's a terminal, right? So flower can be present here also as well as here also. So what can be the flower position in the pea plant? So whether it is axial or the terminal. Then comes to the pod color or the first pod shape. Pod shape means inflated, and in some of the pods you can see that there will be few seeds, and in some of them they are having good amount of seed. So this can also be the different traits of this character. Seed shape or spot color, it can be green as well as yellow also. Seed shape, it can be round, okay, and it can be wrinkled also, right? Then seed color can be yellow or the green. So from this table what you are getting that the characters can be this one, and each character having two contrasting trait, and two contrasting trait, one can be the dominant trait and one can be the recessive trait. Okay, so here tallness we are assuming with the capital T. Make sure that whenever you are using the dominant trait, in this we are using the capital letter. Okay, and letter will be same. If it is A, so it will remain same for the dominant as well as the recessive, but the case here it will be in the uppercase, here it will be in the lower case. So we can say capital as well as here small letter, but letter is same, that is the A. For example, for height, if we have taken T character, T alphabet, so the T alphabet can be of two types, capital T or the small t. So every time we will denote the dominant trait with the help of the capital alphabet or the capital letters. Okay, so this is the thing which we have to keep in your mind, that how the Mendels they have performed this experiment. And at the same time, if I will talk about the monohybrid cross, there will be the crossing of these two types of traits. Okay, likewise if I will talk about a dihybrid cross, there can be any two, it can be this two or this two or this two, any two characters we can study at the same time. Okay, so here we have done the introductory part of the chapter. Whatever the Mendel performed this experiment, he did in some procedure. So what he did, first he has formed the pure lines. What do you understand by the pure line? It means that when we are talking about the homozygous condition, it means that if it is capital T, tall or if it is dwarf. So both conditions are what? Conditions are the pure line. It means that from the selection he took these pure lines here. Once he took the pure lines, he will go for the hybridization technique. What is hybrid technique? Crossing of these two types of parents, where the method is required emasculation, right? So what he did, capital T and the small t, and he will go for the crossing of these two parents with the help of this hybridizing. So what is happening? Hybridization between these pure line. Then when you will get the F1 generation, okay, after crossing all these things, it will get the F1 generation, which is capital T and small t, right? So in that condition, again it will go for the self-pollination. So what do you understand by the self-pollination? It means that if there will be the crossing with the same parent, okay, it means that if capital T and small t again cross with the capital T small t, it means that there will be the same genotype, and the pollen grains from the same plant, it is going to cross it. What we will get in the F2 generation. This is the thing which he studied from the parents to the subsequent generation, and how he performed the experiment, and he will get the F2 generation. Okay, so all these are what? These are related to the Mendel's experiment, and that's why we are calling it Mendelian inheritance, in which we are understanding that how the characters are transferring from parents to offspring according to the Mendel's. Okay, but after that we will study some non-Mendelian inheritance also. But here, according to it, that this is the Mendelian one. But later on, the Hugo de Vries, Carl Correns, and Sherlock, they also performed the experiment separately, and he concluded that whatever the work done by the Mendels, it was the correct method, or it is a good thing. But that time when Mendel performed his experiment, no one has gave any credit to the Mendels. But later on, when this work will done by the other scientists, so he got the good nomination for his work. Okay, so what we have done, that how the procedure will be there. Then comes to the inference. Inference means that what are the results of the Mendel's experiment and what he concluded after performing this whole experiment. Okay, so he concluded that something is there which is passing from parents to the offspring. It means that something is there which is passing from the parents to the subsequent generation, but he was not able to see them, so that's why he used the term factors. Okay, and later on, when there is the invention of all these things, the term which we are today getting, that is the genes. Right now, the another scientist came here, the Punnett square. Punnett square is what, or the Punnett scientist, he gave the method how we can represent all the possible genotypes in a proper manner. Okay, so if I will talk about the Mendel's experiment, how he performed, he took the parents. So how I will write for any of them parents, right? So parents can be P1 and the P2, right? Then another thing what we have discussed, that the phenotype. Phenotype is what? It is the outer appearance. So what can be the outer appearance of this parent? It can be tall, right? Then the phenotype of this parent, it can be dwarf, and we have to take contrasting trait of the character. Okay, then comes to the genotype. Genotype is what we are assuming. So tall is the dominant trait, that's why we are indicating with the capital T, capital T. Always and always it will be in paired form, because why? They are the diploid one. Then comes to the dwarf, it will be what? It will be the small t, because the dwarf is the recessive trait. Okay, then comes to the gamete formation. We all know that in case of reproduction also, we have done gametogenesis. Gametogenesis is what? Gamete formation. So in this parent also it will form the gamete, and in this parent also it will form the gamete. Then only it will undergo the sexual reproduction, right? So what can be the gametes they can form here? Capital T and capital. It means that the genotype, the gamete they are having capital T genotype and this capital T. Here also it will form small t and small t, right? So during the gamete formation, it will segregate from each other, right? So here condition is what? Condition is diploid. Here condition is diploid, but here during the gamete formation, it will be the haploid condition, right? Now, as both are capital T and capital T, so no need to write it again. So in place of that, what we can do, we can just write that from here, what can be the gamete? Capital T. Okay, and likewise from here also we can write the small t. Okay, so in F1 generation, after this what will happen? Crossing will take place. Crossing between two types of parents. What will be there? Crossing between two types of parents. So I can write it here, small t, and you can relate this thing that this condition is what? Homozygous condition. This is also a homozygous condition, right? So here what type of the genotype or the gamete we are getting? Capital T, and here it is indicating small t. No one is going to suppress the effect of other part. Okay, these are the pure lines. Now during the crossing, what will happen? There will be the crossing between these two. Here we are assuming that this capital T is what? It can be male or female. Here you can assume it's male, so it will become female, and if it is female, it will become male. So if I am assuming that it is the female parent, okay, and it is the male parent, right? So now from the male parent, as this is the gamete, it will form its gamete. In case of plant, what it is a pollen grain. So the pollen grain from this parent, which having the genotype of small t, it will reach into the female gamete. Okay, and here there will be the fusion of these two male and female gamete. Due to this fusion of male and female gamete, what will happen? There will be the capital T and small t. So what it is the F1 generation, and this F1 generation, it is known as the filial generation. It means that first filial generation is what? Capital T and small t. Now you can see that this condition is what? This is heterozygote condition, and again it has formed the diploid condition, right? So capital T, small t. So here, as it is in heterozygous condition, which is having the dominant character, this tallness, and this is having the recessive trait, right? So after this F1 generation, what happens? That it will again go for the self-pollination. So what is the self-pollination? It means that both of the male and female, they are coming from the same plant. For example, this is the pea plant. So what is happening? That flowers are present here and here. So what is going to happen? Whether there will be the self-fertilization, means that in bisexual flower, the male as well as female, they are present on the same flower. So from this male part it will fertilize or it will pollinate the same flower. So what will happen, the genotype will remain same. So if it is a genotype of the whole plant is capital T and small t, right? So if there are flowers, bisexual flower, what is going to happen, there will be the cell pollination. So during the cell pollination, what will happen, the same genotype will be there. Now we are assuming that this is what, here we have assumed that now they are become parents, parent 1 and the parent 2, okay, and both the parents, they are having the same genotype. Now during this time again what will happen, same thing it will repeat here, that the first part it will form the gamete, okay. So as it will form the gametes, what will happen, there will be the capital T and small t. Now you have to write separately here also how many, capital T and small t, okay. So once the gamete will form, it will undergo for the crossing method. So crossing can be just like this, capital T, capital T, capital T, small t, okay, capital T, small t and small t, small t. So what you can conclude from here, here you can see that only you are getting the capital T and small t, okay, but here you are getting this much form, okay. It means that in the F1 generation all will become tall. Why tall? Because phenotypically this dominant character, it is dominant over this recessive. That's why we can see that all the plants, they are tall here in which case, in case of F1 generation. But in the F2 generation, what will happen, this recessive trait, it has shown its effect in the F2 generation, which cannot it cannot express in the F1 generation, right? So here you can see that these are the tall, okay. What type of tall they are? They are the homozygous tall, it means pure tall, okay. This one is the pure dwarf, that is a homozygous dwarf. But here you will get some combination, that is capital T, which is showing the again tall condition. And what type of tall they will be? They will be the heterozygous tall, okay. So here what we have concluded again, that these method if I have to do in a very simple manner, so there it will be given by the Punnett method. So according to Punnett method, what he said, that we can represent all these things in a chat box, okay. So here what we can say, that how many gametes it is forming, 1 2 3 4, okay. So likewise we will make 4 chat box, right. One of them, the lower parts we are indicating with the female part, okay, and the upper one we are indicating with the male part. So here I can write this one is a female and this part is the male. So how many gametes we are having, you can write that here T I have written, then again T, okay. In another part also we are having T and the T. So now what can be the cross combination, T, capital T, capital T, this one capital T, small t, then capital T, small t, then small t, small t. So from here again we will get the same result. But if we will go for this method, it will be somehow cumbersome method and it will be easier just only for the one character. If we have to assume more than one character or the dihybrid cross or the trihybrid cross, then we can go for this Punnett square method and it is easier to see that how many cross combinations are there. So what we can say, that is a graphical representation to calculate that probability of the possible genotype in a cross. So what can be the ratio here? If I will talk about this one, F1 generation, all are what? All are tall. So ratio is what? Ratio will be 1:1. Means that all are tall. It means that out of 4, all 4 are tall. So what will be the ratio? 1:1 ratio, right? But if I will talk about this F2 generation, so what you can see, that 1 is tall, okay, 2 they are heterozygous and this one is 1. Okay, so here I am talking about the phenotypic ratio which we can see from our eyes. But in case of F1 generation, whether it is phenotypic ratio or the genotypic ratio, it will remain same, that is 1:1. But in case of the F2 generation, what is happening, the phenotypic ratio, it will be 1:2:1 because total there are 4, okay, 4. Out of them, 1 is tall, 1 is pure dwarf and these are the hybrids, okay. These are the between of both the parents. So this is the phenotypic ratio. If I will talk about the genotypes are what? This is again Here we are indicating that how it is showing. It means that genotypically we have distinguished capital T, but here according to the phenotype, in the phenotype all three will assume as a tall. Okay, in this, sorry, I have written here the phenotypic, but it is what? It is genotypic ratio. Okay, and what is the phenotypic? Which we can see from our eyes. So if I will see all the cross combination, how many tall plants I can see, that this one is also tall, this one is also tall, and this one. It means that out of 4 I am watching that 3 are tall and 1 is dwarf. If I will talk about the genotype, it means that yes, 2 of them they are the tall, but what type of tall they are? They are the heterozygous tall. Okay, they are not the pure tall. So this is the thing which we have to understand, and how we can find out the probability of the cross combination. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you.